Hello guys, welcome back to another what if video. Today I'll be doing a brand new what if. I planned this for a while. I wanted to do this since I get a lot of inspiration from Insane Monster 199. So this is another inspiration from his what if on what if Asta was a nine-tailed kitsune. It's kind of the same because but Asta will be from the land of the rising sun. He will be a white and red kitsune. He will also be born with nine tails, just as his is, and he will gain all the powers that he had, because that's the common powers of a kitsune in the lores and everything about them. So yeah. And now let's get right into it, shall we? So yeah, we began in the land of the rising sun, where a woman and a somehow oddly looking man will have a child, as the woman is completely human, but the man is not. He has like fox ears and some tails, because he's in his half-breed kind of half form, because that's kind of his normal human form if he's not a kitsune. So yeah, so that's his more humanoid form. As they're waiting for the child to arrive, being born. As when he is, they would see that he was born with. He won't be born in his kitsune form really. He'll be born as a human form, as they can't understand why, because he's a half-breed, so they would understand that he looks like a human. As now, the years went by, they will decide to name the child Asta. As they will call him Asta Kitsune. No, wait, hold on. Okay, Asta will be called Asta Kitsuma. So just want to let you guys know that. As now, the years would have went by, Asta will be 6 years old. When he's out fishing with his dad. No, he's out fishing for himself. No, he's sitting on a cliff fishing. As his parents is out like getting groceries and stuff. As well, his mother is. Because his dad can't really show himself since kitsunes are still like a folklore there. So he's kinda home watching over Asta. As then his mother runs back home quickly, tells them that they found, tell them horrible truth, something horrible, that Asta's uncle is dead, he has been murdered, and it said that we're coming for you, monster. No, he said we're coming for you, as they would be a letter to his mother, as they realized that they had to go now. As they grabs Asta didn't know what else to do. He was kind of screams. No, he said, "Why, Dad? Why, Mom?" As they said, "Shh, quiet." As they runs away now. They had a boat. They didn't know what else to do. They took the necessary items and food so they could survive. Take the boats and roads away. Days went by. They would eat a little bit, as the Asta would be fishing all day, kinda, to clear his boredom, as they would eat fish as well. As Asta would knew that he wasn't really human still. But as the weeks went by, day after day, as now it almost had been a year on the boat, as his parents grew tired of this. As they just drifted away, couldn't really control the boat where they went. As now, his mother would die of seasickness one day, as the boat was kind of big, so it'll be out big so you can have like private rooms and all that. As his mother calls for both Asta's father and Asta to come, and she's coughing in her bed. As it began, just in one day she would have died. Asta would see this, be traumatized. He would be 7 and see his mother die. His father was devastated because his wife would die. And then the last thing she says is, "Protect Asta for me, will ya?" She kind of laughed as he would just look at Asta's father. She said, "Of course." And then he looks at Asta like, "Asta Katsuma, you're the last, you're the only one that I care about right now." And then he decides that if it comes to it, as he won't be kind of dying since he's a kitsune, but he might like run out of food, so he'd need to be reincarnated after a long while. Is if in case the food runs out, as he decided like if it happens, he need to feed Asta, because he don't know if Asta will be reincarnated, since he's so young still, and he hasn't awakened his kitsune powers, and he's a half breed as well. So now to go some weeks. They will be attacked by heavenly attacks by sharks. As Asta would be scared about this, as his father comforts him and chases off the sharks every time they come near. But the food would quickly run out, soon start to dry out. As there was only a little bit of food left, he always prioritized Asta. As in secret, when he tried to eat food, when he was, then Asta said, "You take food too," as he give his father food. The father does it, he just puts it back in where he stores the food, to give it to Asta the next day. As it continues like that, as kitsunes can survive without food for a long while. But his life force would slowly be draining, as soon he would be bedlying. And then he looks at Asta, telling him that when he's coughing up, Asta said, "Dad, are you okay?" He says, "Listen, son, you gotta survive no matter what." Then he tells him that whenever you awaken your powers, I will send you someone to teach you how to use them. As he coughs up now, Asta said, "No, don't say that, you'll survive." Then he runs towards the food place as he gives his dad food. Then Dad just refuses to eat it. Asta said, "Why, Dad, why?" Then he says, "Because you need it more than me." Then he straight up dies. No, dies. He wouldn't die really. He was turned to kind of like stardust, as his soul would be slowly fade away. No, his body would slowly fade away. As then he says, "Live, son, live." Also like, "No, Dad, Dad, no." Then he was kind of be sadder a little bit. Then he would remember what his father said, that only the strong. You can't show any weakness in the wilderness. You have to always be strong. And he would have been taught about the Nine Tails, that they were like the king of the yokais, tend to be the leaders. As then the food was run out a day, as he got starving, as he tried to fish up food, like fish. Go fishing to get some fish or anything, but he didn't get much. So one day, like the shark would just attack him. The boat was turned to like kind of start to crack, because it had been on seas for so long and it couldn't receive any maintenance or anything. The boat cracks as it's a tsunami now, a giant storm. As the boats get swallowed by it, but Asta would just be passed out by now, because the food shortage. As it would be near the Clover Kingdom continent, where the boat is, as now he gets washed up. As he knows where he is from the land of the rising sun. Then he was washed up at the shore in the Clover Kingdom. As he kind of wakes up after some days, after they woken up on an unknown land, he doesn't know where he is. He've never seen this place before. Not just that, the trees and everything look different from his home. Then he starts wandering around. Doesn't know where he is. As he needs, the first thing is to find food. Food, he thinks. Then his dad taught him how to make basic tools. So he'd made a spear. As he waited for a rabbit and kind of throw the spear to catch him, it would take like 10 tries before he could do it. Then he would just catch it. He would be happy. He'll look up in the sky and said, "Oh, you're proud of me, Dad. You're proud of me, Mom." And then something would approach him from behind. He would see a black no, it won't be anything approaching him yet. Well, if something approaching from the back, as he would hear some kind of howling. Then looks back and see a wolf. He'll be first scared. Then it picks up its spear, so as he have trained each day. It will be some days after he got the rabbit and so he'll be pretty skilled with the spear for now. The wolf approaches him from behind and howls, which was the biggest mistake the wolf could have made. He should have just sneaked up on Asta already. And then Asta hears this, he takes the spear, turns around, and be ready to kill. Or holds the spear in an attack position to attack wherever the wolf makes a move, and they circle it around each other. Then, and this will be Asta would have moved right in deep into the country now, in the Third Cloud Kingdom. As then it will be near like the village, harsh village, but not really, it will be more south of it. As then the fight will begin. As the wolf tries to attack, Asta now dodges it the first. I don't know how, but he just dodges it. Then he throws it, then the wolf attacks again. He takes the spear and puts it right in through his mouth up in there, like so he gets killed without hurting the pelt. Then he takes off the spear tip and skins the wolf and takes the wolf skin as a kind of trophy around himself. So he held like around him. As he would be then. Oh yeah, and this what if too. I need to explain some things. In common folk, like the Chinese and the Japanese and the stories about Nine-Tailed Fox, they're really scared of dogs. But in this, what if Asta won't be scared of dogs or anything at all? He might be scared of something, but not dogs as much as he turns to a fox and runs away or anything. As his dad just realized that he didn't want a weakness, so he taught him how to hunt and this be immune to get immunized by the fear of dogs. And then the days went by. Asta was just walking, as he will still supplies water near Harsh village, or in a river. As then he would have sniffed something, as he scent that everything would be strength and everything. Sniff something. Humans. As he'd be scared, kinda hide in the bush. No, he will climb up in a tree, because it was kinda in the open near a river, so it is the best position to hide was in the tree, as he climbs up in the tree. But it was kinda the worst position ever. As the humans were walking towards the tree, he would think like, crap, they saw me. As he still has that kind of spear in him, with him, but it would be shorter, it would be a spear, but for his length, since he's 4 foot something, so it'd be a short spear. As the people sits down around the tree, having a picnic kinda. As now he would just look at them, sniff, and since they're just kids, he saw some kids, then he sees the father. The father looked curious about the tree because he thought he heard something. Asta didn't move a muscle when he did that, as the father looked up, then he said, look down. As the kids just looked up the tree now, as wondering what the father looked at, said, it's nothing really. I thought I heard something from there. Asta would sigh in his head, phew, that was close. Then the father would walk away and then come back with Sister Lily to present her to them. Now Asta would see her, kinda take a breath back, because that lady reminded him of his mother. And she'd be taken back by the breath, inhale, in shock, as everyone would hear from the tree now. Then the father said, I knew there was something there. Then he just kinda pokes the kids just runs away from the tree now. Asta didn't know what to do. Should he run away? Should he attack? What should he do? Then father say, who are you up in the tree? As Asta didn't know, understood what he said and all that, because they would all speak the same language, but the writing will be different. Asta wouldn't say anything, he was to be quiet. as they were now just hear us sniffing from the tree. As they wonder, is that an animal or something up in a tree? As then Oscar stopped sniffing now. He realized that he was kind of surrounded by all of them. But he realized that if he attacks like the kids or something, he might get hurt by the adults. He doesn't know what to do. Hold on. Yes, now he's looked down. Okay, I'm back now. Sorry for that. He just looked down at them from the tree. They wouldn't see him at all. They just wondered what it was up there. As they would hear the trees rustle, as Asta prepared like to jump, as he prepared to jump away from the tree and runs away in the forest. Then, like when he does that and jumps down from the tree, he is charged up now and jumps down out from the tree and dodges all of them. As the father would see that it was just a kid in the tree holding a little spear, but then he would first thought that it was a wolf, since Asta had like the wolf pelt around him, protecting him. But then we see that it walked on two foot, as you then see the human feet there. There's some like really like bad shaped shoes. As then the father didn't know what to do. He decides to like then he tells the sister lady to like take the kids back to the church. I will try to follow this kid. Then sister lady does that and takes the kids back to the church. Father is to wait for Asta, and he just goes after Asta slowly, as Asta now is in the forest, hiding in the bushes. As the father would just wait for him, come out, as Asta now is kind of like the wild beast, kind of like a wild animal, looking at him, sniffing as well, as the father would hear this. As he would just talk calmly, and all that time to calm Asta down and to make him come out. As then Oscar's tried to calm down a little bit, but still be cautious around him. He goes out, sniffing around the father, sniffing on about the father. He could smell that he doesn't want anything. He doesn't have a harmful intent at all. He's just curious about me. So then he sits down. Kind of like, huh? He sits down. He will sit down near the bushes, ready to run. As the father sees this and kind of sits down a little bit farther, so he won't be too close. As they just talk a little bit, the father talks the most and tries to ask who is he and why is he here in the forest apparently. No. As Asta would at first like answer at the first, then he would just try like talk, as he would hear the dialect that he's not from here. So the father would think like, where is he from? Where is his parents? As he kind of says that out loud. Then he will see the sad look in Asta's face, and then will realize that his parents might be dead. He thinks like that. Asta would just kind of hear this, kind of think like, know what he thought about. Then he said, yes, they are dead. In like cracking voice, like they are like they said, yeah, they're dead. As he would say, like kind of stumble a little bit to try to speak in his dialect now. And the father would be surprised that he could almost speak in their dialect now. If Stenro said, oh, I'm so sorry. Then I said, so what do you want with me? As he kind of get cautious, still like kind of cautious and ready with the spear. As the father said, I just want to help you. He also smells that he doesn't lie at all. Then he decides to help me with what I'm fine on my own. Then he says, well, then the father said, if anyone else discovers you, they might want to kill you or hunt you, because of how you are, like the wild child you are. Then Asta would kind of like see like, you think about it, say like, that's true. As then he decides to like come with the father to the church. As the father would ask what his name, he said Asta what is now Kitsuma. father would never have heard his, like the father would never have heard his last name. And decides like take him back to the church now. They were walking there. As Asta had a wolf pelt, and they say that he also had like some made like clothes out of some other stuff. So, but when he got there, he got to this harsh village, he'll get new clothes. As then something else would kind of look in the woods at Asta. Asta would sense this and sense something else with him smell. That it smelled familiar to his dad. As he wondered, is that the one that Dad talked about? And then looked back at the woods and like kind of like me like sniffing at him and sensed like definitely smells like Dad. Must be him. Then he decides like then he said if you wait, then he just walks in with the father to the church. And the other would see Asta that the Asta now. Then the father told him that you can't have the spear here. Asta like, why? It says because you don't need it. You don't need. Then I said like, what about food? Then it says, oh. Then I say, wait, how long have you been surviving on your own? Asta would say like, since he had kind of forgotten how, he would say like a month or two, 2 months maybe. I don't know. About 2 months he would Asta would say. For so be surprised that he survived on his own for 2 months at his young age. Then he would ask, how old are you? He would say, about 7 and 2 months or something. He would like surprised him like, wow, at that young age and you survived 2 months on your own in the wild? Then also said, my parents taught me how to survive. Where I'm from. As he would be like, okay. As he would just refer to, as now they opened the church door, everyone would see Asta. As he would still be kind of cautious around them. Instead he would see Sister Lily and be like surprised again. Really think like, wait, that's just, as he gets shocked. Well, Sister Lily won't be in the room yet there. She'll just be in another room and walks out later. As all the kids was be there, so like, well, it was kind of Juno and some young childs there. As they just present themselves to Asta, he will present himself to them. So yeah, as now, how should I explain this? Juno would walk up to him and ask, what's your name? He said, Asta Kitsuma. And she'd be like, wow, that's a odd name. He said, really? Then Asta would ask, what's your name? He said, Juno. When Asta asked about the last name, he said, I don't have one. He said, oh, okay. Look at others, like, I guess you don't have a last name either. They would say, no, we don't. And then, yeah, then Asta was gonna be familiar with them, talk to them a little bit. Then Sister later would walk in from another room. Asta would smell, like, kind of sense her smell coming. He would smell that it smells nothing like his mother. But she looks so like her, so he would still be in shock with her and kind of back away a little bit. Then Sister Little will just understand this, and that something is that she's familiar to him somehow. She looks similar to someone she would think like. Then Asta is calmed down, realizing that she's not a threat or anything. As now the weeks went by, as it would take 2 months, and then Asta decides to go out in the forest again. Kind of like, not hunting, but to find the one that his father sent to him. Just to talk to it. As he would no, but before he could do that, it was the winter now. As Juno was sent to send that letter to the chief village there. As Asta was following him, just to make sure that he was protected. And all that, so yeah, and then, how should I explain this? Then Asta would just be like, no, Asta would just walk, as I said, following Juno. As Juno now gets apprehended by the drunk guy. ripping Yuno's planet off, pushing him back in the snow. Yuno tries to use his medic, but then said, "Do you think that little medic would do anything to me?" Then Yuno started crying, so like, "Give the planet back, it's not yours." Stranko said, "Oh, and what you gonna do?" As he's about to walk away now. But then he would just hear some screaming, say, "Give it back to Juno." No, he would just hear someone say, "Give it back." And then he sees a child with a wolf pelt on him, as he would kind of be taken back by this. Then we'll see that realize that it's not a wolf really, it's just a child in like a costume of a wolf, he thinks. It's not a real wolf. Something else, a fake. Then we'll see like, what's he gonna do about it? Then Asta runs to him. As he runs and is about to punch the guy. Drunk, I wouldn't really be still drunk, so he would kind of react fast enough, kind of. And then, hold on. I checked something, and Asta will use his super strength, or enhanced strength, since he's a kitsune. And now he will punch the drunk guy, as it would be like a grown man, normal punch, as guy would be surprised by this. As I said before pausing this video, the drunk would be taken by surprise by this Asta's strength. Then he stumbles back a bit and is like, "How are you this strong?" Then he would just attack Asta again. Then the drunk would just use his medic now against Asta. But before he could use it, Asta runs towards him again, using his now enhanced speed. And punches the guy again. Drunk would be like, "What the?" Then when Asta tries to punch him again, this time the drunk guy reacts and takes his hand on his head and just pushes him back. Making him fall down. Then he takes out his grammar and said, "You will pay for that." He was kind of sad, and then we'll see something else. He would say like, then he said, "I'll take that wolf pelt and sell it to get more money for my drinks." Then we'll see something emerging from the shadows behind Asta. As Asta could sense on the smell that it's the guy that his father sent to protect him. As then it will be like I won't make it a dog or wolf kinda. Well, actually I will make it be like that. Maybe not, no. Actually, yeah, let's make it like a white wolf. It's a kind of howling. As the drunk would be like surprised that it's a wolf there. Yes, he was scared now, as he thought that I can't take on a wolf by myself. Then Asta would rise up and be like so mad. Then it tells the wolf to stay back. "You're not. This is my prey. This is my fight." Then it looks at the white wolf. The wolf's like kind of wants to argue with him. Then Asta looks at him with a superior yokai look in his face, as he could sense the power emitting from Asta now. As the wolf backs down, the power now surrounds Asta. The wind creates around Asta a giant kind of like a tornado. The wolf pelt falls off. No, not falls off. It was kind of thrown like up in the air a little bit, like the back of it. Then something will happen. He will grow white and white. He will grow 9 tails around him. He won't gain fox ears at all, but he will gain those tails around him. As they stick out 9 tails. As then he won't have fox ears really. As I said earlier, I said that some seconds ago, but still, his 9 tails is there. Then he has kind of like, the drunker will be taken back by this, as the wind barrier now disappears. He would see all those 9 tails. He'd be surprised, like, "What the? Is this your magic?" Then also would look back at it and say, like, "Finally, their powers has awoken, huh?" He'd think to himself. Like, then he'd look up in the sky, quickly and said, "See, Dad? I did it on my own." Then he was looking now at the drunk guy and said, "Now, would you give the planet back already?" or do I have to hurt you? As the white wolf kind of gets curious about what he has to mean about this, then Draco like taken by surprise since he knew about his strength and speed and all that he couldn't take him on. He thought that if he didn't use the transformation magic, I might have been a chance against him. But now I don't stand a chance, not against when the wolf is there too. Seems to be following his orders. Then he drops the pennant and said, "Never mind, I walk away now." But before he could leave, Asta extends one of his tails, as his father taught him basically that he could extend his tails. Then he smacks the drunk guy to the ground. The wolf now walks over to the drunk guy and kind of erases his memories about Asta's form. Yuno would see his form now and see the wolf. As Asta now talks to the wolf, kind of like, so as the wolf now walks up to him, kind of sniffing Asta, as kind of licks him in the face, Asta said, "Stop it." As the wolf does that, and then Asta's tails will now be reverted back into his body. As he'll be like, phew, kind of tired of this, the wolf catches him on the back when he falls down almost. Then the wolf starts to talk to Yuno. As Yuno be surprised by this, and then he said, "Please don't make a fuss about this." He would say in a deep voice. "Oh yeah, I should probably imitate the deep voice." He said, "Please, don't make a trouble of this. I'm just his guardian." Yuno was like, "What? You're his guardian?" He said, "Yes, I am. I'm his guardian." Then said, "Now, I will take you back home to the church. But before that, you'll have to erase your memories of Asta's powers." Then Yuno was like, "Why? Why do you have to erase my memories of it?" Then Asta was wake up and like, "Hey," looks at the Joe kind of like, "Hey, you don't have to erase his memories, really. He's trustworthy, but he's just mad." Then he was like mentally speak to the guy and like the boy, like the wolf said, like, "You don't need to erase his memories. We can just tell him that it's my magic." As the wolf would kind of agree to that and said, "Yeah, that's right," he would say. And he said, "Sorry about that. Master seems to know that. Seem that you're trustworthy. This is just his magic. As took precautions because this is an odd magic. I didn't want you to remember it. But I'm sorry about that." He said, apologizes. Then Austin said, "Sorry about that. Seems my guardian got a little bit out of hand." Then he looked at the guard and said, "At least it's good that you erased the drunk guy's memories about it, since it won't change anything about him." Then he walked back to the church, as it would be like was told that not to tell anyone but Asta's guardian doggy, kinda. As then the dog says when he walked back to the church, the wolf will say like, "Hey, Asta." No, he would say, "Kitsuma." Asta would react to this like, "Yeah," said, "Come to the demon skull next morning to begin your training with your powers." He said like, "Oh sure." Then the wolf said, "Do you know?" Then he would just ask if he knew where the demon skull was, because he had been watching Asta during these months, training there with his muscles and everything. Asta be like, "Sure." Then he walks back into his church now. They're wondering what happened. They just got into a fight with a drunk guy. And so yeah, as they managed to defeat him, kind of knock him out and take the pennant, and then just ran back. They didn't tell really anything about the wolf. As in the next morning, Asta would walk away out to the church, the demon skull. As Yuno knew about this, kinda left him alone for now. Decided to just kinda walk up to him later, maybe. And then he meets up with the wolf halfway to the demon skull. As the wolf decides to talk with Asta, Asta asks for its name. It says, "My name is..." The wolf would just say, "My name is Okami." Asta would be like, "Okay, that's an odd name, but seems familiar." Then he says, "I'm sure it does." since it comes from the land of the rising sun. Asta would react to this sounds be like that's what Okama would say. Of course you would react to it, it's where you're from. Your dad told me all that. Asta would be like, okay, then the wolf would have said, now time for training. Asta would be like, yeah, I got it. I said, then he asked what it takes. Guess I have to use my tails? Then he says, of course. Then Ostwas concentrated himself like to get the tails out, but not to create that giant wind thing, to alert others to his location. As now he has just used a small like wind barrier around himself. And then he transformed to his his tails come out. Then I'll be like, Mr. Okam would not say, interesting, huh? I was like, oh, wait, what's so interesting? He said, you have 9 tails. Then also really said, wait, does that mean that? He said, oh, extraordinary. Then before I could tell anything else, I was like, wait, if I have 9 tails, that means that I'm like a rare one of my breed, right? He said, yes, your father taught you well about that. He said, well, my father said that, told me about the stories about some kitsune might be born with 9 tails instead of just 1. Guess that I'm special, huh? Then he smiles to this, and then Okama with a smile said yes. And Asta wouldn't notice this at first, but Okama would have a long fur around on his back, so yeah, it would reach out and long. Then he would train Asta in his powers, extend his tails, and use his enhancement on his physical strength and strength overall, his speed and stamina and everything. Then as well as his nose could smell anything now. As now it came to some other abilities that he had. As then Ost would feel like in this what if he won't get a grimoire thing, he will just have mana around him. Well, he will get a grimoire, but yeah. No, actually he will be getting the automatic grimoire. Should I give him that now? Wait, hold on, let me think about it. Hold on, why did I start to think about the grimoire when he's only like 7.5 now? Or something. Why did I start to think about that? So then he gets trained now, and then he walks another ability, the Foxfire. It's the pink, almost a little bit red, white flames. As the odd coloring, Asta would see these flames like, whoa. Then he was kind of playing with it a little bit, as then he saw like the flames easily took forms of a fox. As the Okama would now explain everything about that. About his flames completely, because his father didn't tell him about the flames, because he didn't have time. He told him just the basic of his powers and some lores about sometimes a kitsune will be born with 9 tails and all that. Then Oz was like, whoa, so this is my magic? Then Okama said, guess you can call it that, yes. Then Oz was like, oh wait, sorry, I should correct myself, it's supernatural abilities. I need to remember this. For God's sake, it's just a supernatural ability. Then he would have said, yeah, it is. Then Ost would learn the plant manipulation later on. Also, so yeah. As for the medic he will get, I will explain it later on. As Asta now is 10, he has been training there with Okami for 2.5 years. Yuno one day looks for Asta and discovers their training. As the Okami just realizes that and kinda tries to sneak up on him, but before he could do anything, the Okami gets Yuno gets grabbed by a tail, a white and a red tail. He remembers this from Asta and remembers that it is Asta's tail. As Okami was just about to sneak up on him, as he sees Asta grabs Yuno and leaves him in front of him, so oh, are you spying on me? Yuno said, I was just curious about your training. You've been training here for 2.5 years now. I was like, oh, yeah. Then he tells that, well, then he just kind of checks with, so what did you see about my training, huh? They said, I saw your tail and what you could do with your magics and all that. As then he was look at Okami, and Okami just kinda tell him telepathically that he's not lying. That's all he heard or saw. He would say out in a relief and all that, then says, oh well, you can't sneak up on us like that, okay? I'm like, okay. Then he just walks away. And then I said, you can watch a little bit at least. As they look at Okami, Okami kinda nods. As then he decides to not tell Yuna about that he's a kitsune or anything. That is just his transformation magic kinda. That'll have like flame transformation magic. As he would just see that he had all the coloring flames form as the fox. He won't really see that the first form as a fox. He would see that they were formed as something. As then he would ask Asta, what type of magic do you have, Asta? He would say, I don't know yet. I need to Grimoire to see. As then Okami made sure that it asked and also that to Yuna that this will be the only day you can watch our training. He'd be like, okay, he would understand, because Asta would be kind of mad at him for sneaking up on him like that. So he would see this and be like, okay, I should probably not sneak up on him anymore, since he got pretty mad now. As now the day went by, he saw all the training with the flames and all that, as well as he could see that Asta's, like, you see how kinda the tails in this looks like doesn't look like real fur or anything. It's kinda his hard and no. In this I couldn't find any better tails to Photoshop in, because I'm not that good of an artist so I can draw tails or anything. So yeah, that's what you gotta take with you for now. So I will try to find like a new thumbnail. I'm okay. I'll tell you this. I'm looking for a thumbnail artist that can design thumbnails for myself, for me, or so. For I don't know if I could. I'm not like enough. Like I can't pay you. I just telling you that now. I'm sorry for that, but I just need someone to make thumbnails for me if they want to. And soon I will create a Discord server for my channel where all the guys can join. As I already have linked my Twitter at some places, but I will link it in my about page soon as well. So you can tweet to me about stuff you want me to create or anything. So yeah, I'm just telling you that it will take time before I establish my Discord server. I need to configure, like, search for some mods to it. So yeah, now so yeah, and now let's get back into it. As now the day has been passed, a Yuna goes back to the village now. Then Astis tells that I will come back later. Yuna be like, okay. He walks away now, as they made sure that Yuna was far away. Then he was sighing in relief that he was gone, as they looked at each other to make sure that checking their memories if they had said anything about Asta being a kitsune or anything. They remember that he's not. Good. So now they were relieved and started training Asta with his abilities and kind of talk about it again now. But then they all went back to the village, as Okami now followed Asta into the church now as well. As the church people would be kind of first scared about the wolf following Asta. Then Asta said, oh, it's just a friend I met. I'm calling him Okami. It's from where I'm from. It's the name of a wolf. As where I'm from, Okami is another word for wolf. So I decided to name him Okami. He was kinda lie about that. Okami just kinda nods. Oh yeah, and Juno would be told to not tell anyone that Okami can speak. As now the years would have went by, Asta is now 15. Okama would have been resting with Asta and all that as they get a separate room, kinda, since he got new, so he got their own room. As they were resting there. As everyone, no, once they were asking about Asta about his magic, he was look at him and like kinda said like, oh yeah, and then shows his foxfire. No, his fire magic. Slash foxfire. Now we see the odd coloring of it. I'm like, wow, that's some odd coloring in fire magic. As then the Asta is now 15. It's time for them to get their grimoires. As when they're walking, Juno walks like in front of them a bit as Asta didn't want to walk alone. Okami following him. As Okami pulls Asta to the side and tells that it might be not a chance, it might be a slight chance that you won't get a grimoire, since you only have supernatural abilities. Also be like, I know, but I still have mana. I know that. As he would smile, he would say, yeah, you do. As then they walk now to the, how should I explain it? They will walk into the Grimoire Tower, catch up to Yuno. As they, like, the Grimoire guy was welcome everyone, they will see Asta with the wolf, and he will look at and say, you, then I'll say, like, it's tamed. It's friendly at all. As he'll be like, okay, just make sure that he doesn't do anything stupid. I was like, of course, if he does anything, I will fry him up for dinner. As the Okami will just kinda giggle about this. I don't know, he'll be like, what? Look at Asta, like, really come up with that lie? Asta look at him, still kinda smile, said, heh. And now they get into the Grimoire Tower. As the Grimoire guy now explains everything about how a Grimoire is and everything. Oh shit, why does my cable have touch? I'm literally pounding my screen. Yes, no, sorry about that, but I'm pounding the screen with my cable, and it has touch for some reason. Really, really, how can it have touch? Sorry about that. I'm so fixated by it. So yes, now he explains about that, about what a grimoire is and what it can do and all that shit, all that. So yeah, now he says something like grimoire exalt Gior. As the grimoires all now appears and goes to their like rightful new owners, kinda. As now a bright greenish light would appear, goes down to Yuno. As it, then we see like, As then we also that there was a 4-leaf clover. The nobles would be pissed. Then we'll see like something else coming up. Then we'll see like us would be like, as I thought, no grimoire. As no, it wouldn't make a scene. But some people will notice that he didn't get a grimoire at all, as they would kinda laugh. And all others would just look at why they were laughing, as then they would just point at Asta, that he did get a grimoire, as they were all laughing now. But then suddenly, a grimoire burst from the top, flies down to Asta immediately, like a pink, white, reddish light. Goes down to Asta. Asta will see the light and be like, what? As then he would see like, it was like, then we just touch it. As he would be very, like, he would see like there's a 4-leaf clover. But then it will be like a fox on it too. Like a sleeping fox around it, with 9 tails. No, it won't be a tails or anything, it will just be a normal fox around it, sleeping. No biting its own tail, almost. No resting on its own tail around the 4-leaf clover. Also to see this kind of like it would be really hard to like see the fox on it. But since Asta's supervision, everything, he would be able to see it easily. He shows Okami it too, as they both see it. As then he opens his grimoire and sees what the magic is. He curious about it. Then he sees, oh, it's called Foxfire. Interesting. He looks at Okami. Okami like kind of think telepathically telling me that. And then he thinks like maybe just look at Austin, so like maybe it is that you have another type of magic to, maybe it is just to make you cover up your nature. Your mana might just try to help you hide who you are really. He telepathically told Asta. Asta would answer him telepathically too, like that's probably it. Then he closes his grimoire and walks out. Yes, then they just walk out and all that. And from the Grimoire Tower, everyone walks out now. Kinda as Yuno walks with him too. And now they know Asta walks out ahead. Goes out in first and checks his grimoire, try to figuring out. Then, yeah, as they read look at the grimoire, looking at the fox, amazed, as for the grimoire will be like reddish. So yeah, it will be kind of like pink reddish to make like have the same color as his foxfire. And I'm not taking like the same color of the medic from Insane Monster 199. I really liked his idea on how the flames looked and everything. As I'm giving full credit to him, I hopefully will remember to put a link to his channel in the description and in a pinned comment probably too, as I have already shouted him out so many times in this video. And yeah, he's really an most amazing guy ever, kind of making what ifs. He's a real good what if maker. He's actually the one that inspired me to start my own YouTube channel with like what if videos. So yeah, now gets back to the video. Gets back to the what if. As Okami and Asta talks kind of about the grimoire, then opposite, it will see like it. They would only see like the spells that Asta would only be able to see the spells. Even Okami wouldn't be able to read them. Well, he will see the text, but he won't be able to read them completely, since it's like a language of kitsune. As yes, I will make that kitsunes have an own language. As he would ask Asta if what is this, and then he would think like Asta would think like, wait. Then just read it again and check the text like it's the kitsune's language. It's the kitsune alphabet. As they now he was what is now? Okama would be surprised. I'm like, what? He was like, Asta was like, yes, I remember my dad taught me about it. He's told me that the kitsunes have their own language, like alphabet. No, they will hold their own alphabet. So yeah, I was like, okay. He was kind of accepting this because he knew that the kitsunes was full of surprise and all their power and everything. Like, oh well, seems like Master really did taught him the most essential parts of the kitsunes. Then Asta would sense something, that Juno was in trouble, as he now felt a giant wind tornado, and the heat coming from the Grimoire Tower. As he runs to like there, without using his transformation, just using his super enhanced speed. As he sees Juno beating two nobles, as now chains appear, like chasing after Juno. As Okame and Asta sees this, then it look up where the chains came from. They see this Revchi standing there. And now Asta will be like, Arr. Then he jumps down and said, and what the hell are you doing with Juno's grimoire? Give it back. As you know, now would see, like, remember those words and the kind of perfect line as Asta stood there. As he would get flashbacks of when Asta was like, when they were 7 years old. Asta saves him from the drunk guy. As a driver, she would be surprised that, oh, and you're the one with that odd light, like odd colored magic. Guess I will take your 4-leaf too. Then he tries to use the chains to grab Asta. As the chains just wraps around Asta, but Asta will be on the other side of him, kind of knocking on his shoulders like, hello, can't you aim properly? No, he said, no, he would just punch the guy from the back. As he would have, from now switch to Ravish's perspective, he sees the chains just wrap around Asta, but they just they lose. Then Asta just disappears. He'd be surprised of like what the. Then Asta is around the back of him and punches him right in the back as he just falls down to the ground. Asta thinks that the fight is over. As Okami says that it's not over, Asta. Asta like sigh, like taking a deep breath, it's like I know. Then the Revchi gets up, it's like what the, how did you? Then he will see, like, then Asta will just use now his flames, like Fox Magic. He will open his grimoire, like Fox Magic, transformation. He just tell this, and so yeah, as now flames would wrap around Asta and goes up in a spiral. The flames would spin around Asta. Revchi would just try to pierce through it, but the chains would just melt when it got near the flames. As now the flames would disperse, and now he would see Asta's fox transformation with all the 9 tails. As Okama would smile, like kind of like have a smug face and smile and think like, so, young master thought about using the flames that come up with this light to transform, huh? My, master's pretty have a good mind of sense. Have a good mind. Then Asta uses extra speed boost he got now from the transformation and blitzes towards him, like and knocks, not kills him. No, he just knocks like the Revchi down to the ground with his tails. Takes Yuno's grimoire and breaks the chains around the Yuno and gives Yuno his grimoire back with one of his tails too. As Revchi is now like unconscious, as now like they just walk away, and the medic knight just comes after Revchi and arrests him. As he is kind of whimsing around. Then before they went away, Okami still erases Revchi's memories of that. As Asta like, come on man, why do you have to erase his memories? I'm strong enough to defend myself. Then it says, you haven't become a medic knight yet. The people might want to experiment on you. Because of that weird transformation. Asta will be like, yeah, I guess you're right this time. Oh crap, I forgot his name. Asta was like, yeah, I guess you're right this time, Okami. I don't know how I could forget that name so easily just now. I don't know why, the reason is unknown of why I forgot. As now they were just talking. As they're walking away, Yuno talked to them a little bit. They did a fist bump. Then Asta and Okami just goes away to train. As Okami says that I have one last thing to teach you. As Asta like, okay. And it will be like the flight that he could like float. And then he'd like, so to start with, he said you have to train like using the flight form in your fox, like in your transformation form. I was like, okay. And she transformed now to his 9-tail, like his kitsune form, kitsune humanoid form. As now Okami teaches him how to fly, like float and all that, as makes it happen easily. And now also he just kind of talked. No, he was talked to. No, what am I saying? Then we teach Asta transform back now to his normal human form. Then Okami says, why? Asta said, because I need to try if I can use it on my human form. Because he looks at Okami and said, because we don't know if I can do that yet, can we? Do we? He said, no. I'm like, good. Just now the Asta tries to focus us. He has to focus a little bit harder, but he manages to fly it and can fly easily. Then he flies down to the ground now. So Okami said, good, you have already mastered the flight so easily. Asta will be like, yeah, but I still have much training to do. As he now trains for mostly for the 6 months training before they leave to the entrance exam. Asta just kinda trains with his tail hardening and everything, extends the tail so long, see how long he can extend the tails, and tries to create bigger foxes of his fire. As he manages to do that, it creates some more illusions, makes himself invisible. So yeah, invisible. I say invisible. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, because I've never it's so rarely that I hear someone say invisible. I hear someone say invis potion from Minecraft. That's the only time I've heard someone say invincible. I say mostly when people say invisible, I just hear invincible. Because yeah, I'm just have that kind of hair knockback on my ears and all that, but still. Yeah, now get back to the what if now. Getting out of hand, talking about my life, sorry about that. As the 6 month was now over, oh yeah, and Asta will meet the swords guy. As he would be intrigued by Asta's he wouldn't see Asta's transformation. As he would be intrigued on how fast Asta could learn. As Asta now created illusions as well, and they could attack him too. As his diamond mage sword must be so surprised by this. I'm like, wow. He'll really say wow. And yeah, so yeah, that training now will be over for 6 months. Asta and Okami meets up with Yuno and they all say goodbye. Well, Okami doesn't speak. So now they were walking, when they got off of sight, then it says to them we should probably stay. Wait, stay here. Us to stop here. They will be why? Asta look at him see the smug grins growing on his face you're too lazy to walk, huh? As Asta looks at the Okami said you're too lazy to walk, huh? Okami smirks and said yeah. Asta sigh and say fine. Then he just transforms to his fox, his humanoid form. As you would have seen this and all that. As he knew how Asta ordinarily transformed that kind of a wind barrier. As then the growth tails just grow out and all that. And then he'll be what are you doing, Asta? Asta then says, well, he extends his tail and starts to float. Then it tells Yuno to just sit on one tail. Yuno just does that and Okami just jumps on a tail. But Asta just dingles, he'd say Okami falls off for a while. As it takes some time, Asta just wants to mess with him. Said that's what you get for being lazy. Then he finally lets Okami stay on the tail now. Okami smirks at him as the smirk would just be mopped off of Okami's face. Then Oswus fly off, kind of shilling us one of his tails too, while they're flying. Well, he was controlling it where he was flying to. As they flew to the capital, they would go there 2 days earlier than normal. As Asta now, before they got there a bit, as then he lands and transforms back to his normal form. As for Okami, he will just still be with Asta a lot, kind of talking to him sometimes, but when they got closer to capital, he just telepathically talked to Asta. As Yuno wondered how they were talking. Well, what are we doing? Because Asta would awfully quiet sometimes. As then Asta was telling that I'm just thinking about stuff, because he didn't really want to tell Yuno about that he telepathically talked to him. To the Okami, as they were not walking. Well, not walking really. Well, they were walking into the capital, checking out everything, walking around. As now they got back to where they were camping outside the capital, No, it was the day for the entrance exam. They woke up early to get like there early, all that. As they would go around, see everything. As Asta would just look at the castle and be like, As in this, what if Asta won't have like the same goal to be the Wizard King? Really? Well, he will get that soon, but he will say, because Yuno wanted to become the Wizard King, he will say that I'm your rival then. As he Asta just, said like, look at that castle. That's gonna be mine one day. Asta like, really? They said, yeah, and if you're lucky, I might let you live there. And then us like, you mean if that's gonna be my castle, and if you're lucky, I will let you live there. As they would just kind of smile to each other. And this what if Asta won't be like short now? He'll be 6 foot. He'll be taller than Juno. And I know I'm making this up now, but he will be 6 foot. As now they were walking kinda, and how should I explain this? They were walking to the snake stand. The old lady just looks at them so like, oh, fresh snake. Definitely not poisonous at all. It is completely free from it, poison, healthy and everything. Austin Jonas looks at it, and Austin Okami decides to walk up. As Austin's like, then said, how much does it cost? Said, oh, it's free for examinees if you're gonna join the exam. I was like, I'll take one. As Okami said, like, you know that there's a poisonous, right? I said, yeah. Then the old lady asks, so who is this? As he points at the wolf. It's like, wait, it's that wolf? She kinda acts a little bit scared, acting. Also said, you know that your acting is really bad. Then he looks at him too. Then Elsters create like a wind barrier around them, using so no one else would see. Then he was look at the old lady. He focuses on his eyes as the old lady would wonder what is he doing. Then he was his eyes would have been drawn to Osta's eyes. He also looked right into them. Then this Eula's disguise would just like deactivate. Osta said, I thought so. Also come with a kind of smirk. Well, a dog smirk. Then old lady, then Eula's be surprised like, wow. Austin has over the snake said, here, eat it. She kinda, as Eula said, no thanks. Austin said, I thought so, I knew that it was poisonous already. Then he waits until, then said, you should probably get your disguise on again. Asil said, of course. Then he disguised himself as the old lady again. The wind barrier disappears. Junior saw the wind barrier and thought that Austin is talking to the lady in private. So no one else can hear it, maybe. Then when they're walking out from there, Austin and the Okam would just have the biggest smirk on the face. But when Junior looked at them, they would take the smirk away immediately, except for Okami. He'll still have the smirk, as they register grimoires now. As now they're walking towards that grimoires, they would say, I'm Juno from Hush Village. As he would say, they could kind of say, okay. Then it scans the grimoires like a 4-leaf clover, say, whoa, the rumors are true, it really is a 4-leaf clover grimoire. Juno would be like, yes. Then he said, next. Asta would walk up and say, Asta Kitsuma. I was like, never heard that name before. Said, really? I don't really care. Said, here's my grimoire. As he scans it, and Asta like, please don't see the fox, please don't see the fox. He kind of thinks in his head really hard. Then said, it was like, oh, 4-leaf clover too. Guess the rumors were true that there were 2 of them. They're appearing. Asta would like, pew, kind of sigh in his head. And they were walking to the grimoire ceremony. As everyone would wonder why he had the 6-foot tall guy would have a wolf following him with that long like fur on his neck, kind of extending on his own. Well, it won't be really visible, but Asta would realize that he had like a long fur there. So he decided to not ask him really. They walk in there, like waiting. as the anthematic birds wouldn't really bother Asta because he had a man and all that. As when they got near the wolf, Asta decided to Asta and the wolf was close, so they wouldn't go near the wolf either, or they wouldn't go near Okami. Yuno sees them, kinda leaves them alone. As Okami talks to Asta about a one certain anthematic bird. Asta said, I noticed that too. Then Asta lets the wolf, the bird just land on his head. So let's just concentrate medic to not go away from that spot, so the bird can land there without getting hurt. As will now take it in his hand, he kind of pets it and puts it back on his head now. As he walks around, then he will sense something, as Asta will have key sensing, because his father taught him that. Then he sense with key around. Then he was also kinda smell something. Then he will bump into Yami. As they were, I don't remember how tall Yami is, but I think he's 6 foot too. As they will look at each other, toe to toe, as they would have similar body builds. As Asta would be ripped in this, really ripped. As they were both sense the key. As wait, your key. As they were wait, your. As they were talking in their mouth, Asta said, you're from the land of the risings. Yami said, hey kid. Asta yeah. He said, why are you key? Are you from the land of the rising sun? Asta would be taken back, but kind of back down a little bit, said, how do you know that? As Yama said, as I thought, it's your key. Knew I could sense it. I am there from there too. Asta so, really? Then I asked, so, Asta I knew I sensed something familiar with your key. He'd be oh, so you knew about key too? Asta of course. My father taught me everything before he kind of looks down. Jan would look up, kind of clap on his shoulders it's okay. Sure, it's okay, kid. It's okay. Yeah, I understand. Then said, thanks. Then we see Rob said, oh wait, you're a captain. I said, yes, I am a captain. I was nice. As Yam sent something else with his key, something else was off with Asta's key though, but he didn't know what it was. So he decided to raise his hand no matter what with Asta's, for Asta, since he was from the land of the rising sun. Well, he was from the land of the rising sun, I know. I think my voice was pretty low when I said that earlier. And now the antique sun would kind of start. Now the captives would walk in. All the anti-magic birds would fly away, and Nero too. As everyone would see, the captives would see, look at Asta now, as they saw pretty two tall figures, kinda. Well, Yuno was pretty tall for being a little bit taller than most of the nobles there. Then we see Asta even taller than Yuno, as they saw that he had some kind of similarities to some Yami, but not really. Well, he wouldn't have similarities to Yami, he wouldn't look alike, but they would sense something else. His mana was kinda odd for them to feel. Yam would feel it too and all that. As now it was for a flying test. As for Asta, he was decided to communicate with Okami in the brain in his head, thinks should I or should I not? Then just fly with your, you fly with your concentration, all that, just levitate. I was yeah, sure thing. Then he starts to levitate. When the broom goes to him, he drops it, said, no thanks. Kinda waves, said, no thanks, I don't need it. Everyone was what, is he giving up already? Yuno would just smirk. Jan would just look at him intrigued. Then we see Asta would start to float. As everyone would be surprised by this, as he just flow on the same height as Yuno is. Kinda smirk into Yuno. Yuno's show off. I was hey, we're supposed to go all out on this, ain't we? So it's ain't a show off. I'm just showing them my skills, what I can do. As the captors see this, as they would also see that Asta kind of struggles, like floating a little bit. They see a tiny little bit of struggling, but they would still be amazed that he could fly with all his magic, with just without a broom. Everyone would be intrigued by this. Then it came for a target practice. Now they landed. Asta flew back down, kind of petted Okami. Asian would see this wolf and sent something else with his key. Something, the same thing that was off with Asta was the same thing off with the wolf around him. And she thinks that maybe it's something else. He just shakes it off. Now it's time for target practice 1. As Asta creates Foxfire. Well, he creates uses Foxfire. He opens Skirmer said Foxfire's missile. He would say Foxfire. Fox runs. No, he would say Foxfire. He would say Foxfire ball. Foxfire multi-attack. As he creates multiple foxes. No, it won't be that. It will say a Firefox magic. He'll say Firefox magic. Fox army. As all the foxes just runs to the targets and runs right through them and kinda burns a hole right through the bullseye. As the other captains everyone see foxes running in mid-air, created of fire, odd pink-colored fire kinda piercing through the targets. Jan would be more intrigued by this. All the captains would be wondering too, as they decide to ask him later on what his medic was when they after combat proportion. And then what should I say? No, then it is the seed growing test 1. Asta that creates it was seed growing test. Asta's flower would grow up to be a flower would create with a pink flame blue flower on the top of it. As everyone would be surprised by this, and it was kind of the tallest one there. Well, the same tall, almost a little bit taller than Juno's. Then it came for what is now. I knew that was a third one. Yeah, it's the creation part. Asta just creates an fiery illusion of himself. Well, he creates he has some fire around a circle next to him, and creates a clone of himself, or an illusion of himself. As all captains would see this and feel this kid's abilities is really amazing. Jan would sense something else from his key now, as he would wonder what the hell is wrong with him. This key, as he would just think about this, not showing anything. He would still be the same face as he was in canon, as no one would realize that he was thinking about something about Asta. Now it came for the combat portion, where Juno gets challenged by the same noble. As it's more one-sided than this, Juno easily defeats the noble. Then time for Asta. He gets challenged by a water mage noble. As the noble, it will be challenged by a water medic user from the Silva house. As he will be I will crush your weird fire or magic. Also look at him okay. As the noble walks up to him, slowly just kind of talking to him, and whispered, so all the Asta would hear is just give up already. You're a commoner. You might be tall and all that, but you won't be able to. You have standing no chance against against a royal. Asta would be pissed at this, as then the work starts. Then the noble said, at least make this interesting and don't hold back. As now, here's kind of back down a little bit. As Yuno's match was over, she was talking to Okami, as Okami would see Asta's face. How Asta got really pissed by this. as he barely was able to control it. As he would have sensed this to with his kind of key and just look at Asta's face. As Juno would ask, what's wrong? What's up with Asta? Then Okama whispers to him kind of really low, while Juno makes a kind of pets him as an excuse to sit down. Okama said that Royal said something that really pissed Master off. Kind of whispers. As Juno like, okay, and then the fight will start. Asta would back down, as the noble creates a couple of water army soldiers and sends them towards Asta. Asta would create his fire and creates his fox army. He has simply opened skirmish at fox army, as the foxes runs through the water like all the water armies as the water evaporates. Noble will be taken back by this, and then he said like uses cold spell, his cold water. He creates a giant a couple of water snakes. Asta easily dodges them. Then the noble would be mad and creates a giant like a water golem around him as he walks up to Asta, as he had a giant water sword. Asta now would take his anger now. As Okama would see this like, oh, then he was look at Juno. Juno look at him and said, what's up now? He said, here it comes, he would just say. Then he didn't know what he meant by that, but then Asta was crazy, like he just creates a fire around him, a fire circling around him, so he would be hiding it. As Jan would sense the key now. As his key, this thing, he was almost sure about it, but he said, something's off with him, definitely. Then when the fire clears around Asta, everyone would see that he had 9 tails, a white and like kind of red tails, with a pink aura around. No, not pink aura around him. Then he created a pink fire sword. No, he wanted to create a fire sword at all. He was extend his tails. As everyone thought that it was some sort of fire transformation magic. I thought that might be something. As they saw the tails and thought like that might be a fox transformation, fire fox transformation maybe, since they heard him say that it was like a fire fox magic. Or fox fire magic, or Firefox, I don't really know what to call it really. I know Firefox is a web browser, but still, you know where I'm going with that name. Yammer, they were sure about this. I saw all the 9 tails. He was sure about it. It felt a kitsune. But what's it doing here? As Asta now extends his tail, hardening them, and just knocks out the noble right through the water golem. And knocks him out. So the winner, the judge would say, winner is Asta Kitsuma. Yeah, would hear the names like Kitsuma. He was remember the name as he heard that, as it was kinda close. The Kitsuma family was kinda close friend to his. No, he was hear the name like Kitsuma, huh? Interesting. You just kinda say. Then Asta was kind of back to Okami. Okami said, "Are you okay?" As he de-transforms now, with fire around him, it surrounds him with his fire again, and de-transforms. Then he walks up to Okami, pets him. As they wait for the selection to start, as all the other matches needed to be clear first. Okami said, "What happened?" Asta said, "You don't need to know what he said, only that he deserved what happened to him. He deserves maybe a little more, but that will be too far to take it." As Ada would try to stop me then. Come back, so he did say something real offensive. Said yes, he really did. You don't really know what they're talking about really. Since Asta and they were told perfectly. As Asta just was petting Okami. Then it came for the selections. And Juno of course gets chosen by all 7 squads, no, all 9 squads, and he joins the Golden Dawn. As for Asta, he just look up and look at all the captains, as some captains raise their hand. It will be Figolion, Real, Jack the Ripper, Yami, and they were all of them. Then he decides to pick. It said, I want to join the Black Bulls. Everyone would be surprised by this, as to when Figolion, no, before he could sense no, they decided no, since they already heard what his make was, Figolion would say, lost stand up and said, why do you choose the Black Bulls? Also, I have a gut feeling about it. I just feel it with my gut. Figolion said, very well, it's your choice. Yami kinda laughs now, and then says I actually got a good one this year. As now this day was over, as Okami goes with Asta kinda as to meet up with Yami. Yami thinks he needs to talk to Asta later on. As it then says feels so the key with Asta now, it was the similarities between him and the wolf. You think the wolf may be a yokai too. Then meets up as Yami is asks Asta about the wolf. Asta oh, where I'm going, the wolf is going wherever I'm going. Yami would kind of said, oh, okay, I'll let him in the squad. As they walk through the portal now, then he has asked Asta if he can talk to him a little bit, as he then tells Funeral and Gordon to just walk on. I suppose as they walk into the forest now, as Yami looks at as the Okami just follows them, and kinda then Yami just asks him, okay, so why are you here? So how old are you really? I was I'm 15. No, don't lie to me, boy. I said, I swear I'm 15 and a half. I swear, I don't lie. I said, then how can you have 9-tailed kitsune? How can be a 9-tailed kitsune if you're only 15? I was surprised, wait, then we weren't really surprised since in the land of the rising sun there were myths about the kitsunes. Yam said, I only thought they were myths and everything, but when I saw your tales I knew that were real. The others might think that it's a transformation, but I know who you really are. Kitsune. Or some signs guess there's no time or reason to hide it. Then he looks at Yami and says, if I tell you why I'm here and my real age, everything, explains everything to you, don't tell anyone else, okay? Yami will be sure. I was fine then. Then he tries to explain it, but he will kind of have trouble. Then Okami just walks in and explains everything. Young will be surprised that the dog can talk. Now the wolf can talk and all that. But not really. Surprised since he sensed the weather key and everything. As he'd explain that, yes, in the common folklore, the foxes, a kitsune gains their second tail when they're 100 years old, and gets their 9th tail when they're 1,000 years old. But in some rare cases, kitsunes might be born, or half-breeds, like Asta here, young master here, can be born with 9 tails. And we're surprised by this, I'm okay. Then he was look at the wolf and said, so what are you really then? I said, oh, I'm just a mere servant. I see him kind of accept this, so are you some sort of yokai too? He said, yeah, sort of. I'm just a white wolf that was ordered to be a servant of the yokai king, aka also known as Asta's father. And I said I was ordered to be the servant of the oldest 9-tailed Ninth kitsune, as it was Asta's father here. Asta Black, oh, so wait, so you saw my father because he was the oldest? Said, yes, but your father saw me more as a friend and not as a servant. Asta Black, so that's why he talked about you before. He would talk telepathically now. Yamur then hears then Yamur can accept this, as then he said, of course, I won't tell anyone about this. Asta Black, thanks. As during this conversation, Nero would be following them, but then he would look as now Okama just erased the memories of what that Nero heard about what Asta was, as he erased them from Nero's because he could sense that there was a human soul in it. As they decided to comfort her later, but now they were here kind of like the walking back to Blackpool's hideout, as the door now was kind of like the front wall was kind of explode and go to pieces as that door, as young Black around there said, quit breaking stuff already! As they all were kind of said, and now sit down, as they did. Then he would present Asta and the wolf called Okami. Said, these two are our new recruits, as they walked. Then was like, this is our new recruit and his or other new recruit, as they saw just a wolf, white wolf. They would first be taken by surprise and kind of scared, then also like he's tame, he's calm and everything. He's properly tamed, you can just, he won't do anything to you. Like, okay. Then Magnum would freak out and say, what, we're gonna have dogs, wolves here now? He said, this wolf is, then Oscar like, this wolf is no ordinary wolf, he's my servant. He would say, it is my friend, wolf. This is Okami, my pet. And where I'm going, he's going. And if you have any objections, you're free to challenge me to fight. Jan would look at Asta like, hey newbie, I'm the one calling the shots here. Asta like, fine. It's kind of accept it. Then was like, how did they get along so well? Then Magnus said, so can we do the baptism? Jan was like, nah, just leave him be. We can just have a say, sure. And then they would ask something to Yam that how do you know this kid? He said no, but Oslo was like, he might not know me, but we're from the same place. They wonder what? Then we'll say like then Oslo would say continue saying we're both from the land of the rising sun. As was taken by surprise by this. As they would Yam and Oslo would have a discussion about where they came from. As Yam would come from the southeast part of the land of the rising sun, aka Japan. As Asta came from the east, like he would come from the south part of that. As they'd be kind of be close to each other. The village was close to each other where Asta lived. As Asta said, southeast, huh? What's the name of the village? He said, Haku. Asta was like, Haku village. Then I remembered and said, wait, that's where my parents' boat was when we escaped. When we left the land of the rising sun. After being threatened to, as he was said, that's where the boat was that we left with, or boat that we left with. Yama would be like, oh. And he said, so what's the name of the boat? He said, it was called Mojin. He'd be like, wait, did you say Mojin? He said, yes. Yama would think, like, that's the boat my father built. I was like surprised, like, what? He said, yes, that's the boat, one of my father's proudest things to build. As they were talking about this in quietly so no one else heard, except for Okami. As he would find this conversation interesting. Now they were talking, as now they were time for the baptism. Asta did the physical part, but Asta just easily breaks their rock with just his head. Head was it and the stone just cracks easily into a million pieces. Then he takes for the other physical parts he easily aces with his increased stamina and everything, and strength. Then it comes to like the medic portion. Asta surrounds himself with fire again. As Yamil kind of like thinks that he probably does that to hide his transformation when he grows the tails. He thinks like that. As now the tails comes out. As Magnum would be surprised by this, and Final and like Gordon won't be surprised by this at all. They'll be like kind of excited to see his tails again. As the other Black Boltsmen will be surprised by this. You know what? Then Ostbus uses his tail to extend them and like kind of and harden the fur of it to block all the attacks that comes towards him. As for the last one, Asta decides to just create an illusion of himself standing there, as he just appeared behind the Magna level. He was invisible around behind Magna. Yamu couldn't even sense his ki now. Because kitsunes had the ability like to hide their presence from others. Except for other yokais. Well, some yokais could sense them if the kitsune wanted just to that specific yokai to sense their location. Young would wonder what trick did he do now, he thinks. As then we remember the fight with the Silva house member there in the capital. Think, oh, so he's using that one now. As now the fireball would just hit the Astas. Finn was about to open a portal. We stopped and said, no, don't. Magna thinks that they killed the newbie. As the hero sees the fireball go through the illusion as the illusion disappears. As he thinks like, oh shit, I killed a newbie. Then Astas knock on his shoulder like, hi. As he creates his tail to like throw Magna down and kind of not knocking him out, but making sure that it's immobilized. Then Magna said, I surrender, you won. Everyone will be surprised by this, except for Yami and Okami. Asta with a smirk at this. And think like, haha, weak. No, he wouldn't say that at all. He was kind of think like that. He said, haha, I won. Then looks up in the sky, saying, like kind of half loud, so everyone would just kind of hear this. Then said, "Do you see that, Mom? Do you see that, Dad? I won. I got it to squad." And then he also said, I think I got a new family. He was kind of say, everyone would hear something kind of sad that they would realize that Osta's parent was dead. Then Ostas looks down and kind of smiles towards them now, as they all jumps towards Asta, saying that he's amazing. As before he could go back, take back his tails, Charmy and all the others was touch his tails and say that it was fluffy. As the like kind of Charmy would say, so fluffy. Then Asta would just harden his fur, and she was, as Charmy was like, not fluffy, not fluffy. Then he was accepted and let her do this for a while now, as he extends the tail to get Charmy as far as away from him as possible. Then he just kind of shakes her off at the grass. So since the door was open to her Black Bull's hideout, she just drops her in there. She immediately runs back and kind of grabs the tail as Asta shrinks it back. He'll be like, "You're quick, Charmy." She'll be like, "Yeah." She'll be like, "Quick, me?" As then she'll see the wolves like, and the wolf, Okamu just kind of realized that they were trying to pet him now. Asta, as he was trying to dodge, Asta was grabbing him with his tails, like with one of his tails to like make him stand there. He said, "Oh no, if I'm gonna take this pain, you're gonna stay with me too." As Okamu said, "But master," Asta like, no questioning. comes like, fine. As they start to pet the wolf too. And then they will see. Then Okami and Asta would sense something up in the roof. Since their eyes was really easy to use and all that, they could see the silver-haired girl. As this Asta smelled it, that she something similar with the guy that he fought earlier. He decides not to worry about it since she's a part of the squad. So yeah, and this is where I'll be ending this what if off. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe and click that bell to be notified whenever I upload a new what if video. Or doing something else, like an update video or anything, so yeah. And now, that's all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe. Peace out.